Audi Stevens Creek. Today we want to show you all the cool things that the new TT has to offer. This is the third generation TT, which has been redesigned and released for the year 2016. Right behind us, we've got the TT Roadster, one of the most unique examples of the TT. It's going to be dressed in a nano gray, which is also a new color for this year. And the TT Roadster's the convertible version, so it does have a top which can come up and go down to expose those brilliant aluminum roll bars there on the back of the TT, one of the design signatures that the Roadster has. And a little bit later, we're going to drive the TTS. We're going to take the regular TT out and show you some of the differences between the older model and the current generation. Now, the TT itself has always been a very unique car on the road. It doesn't really compare with a lot of other vehicles because it's so small and fun to drive. It has a nice short wheelbase. It gives it a classical sports car proportion. And then with the all-wheel drive, Audi Quattro is going to give you the full traction in any road condition. Now, the all-new third generation TT was introduced to the American market for model year 2016. That's what we've got here right in front of us. And if you'll notice, the front and rear of the vehicle have been aesthetically changed pretty significantly. While the overall dimension of the car has not grown at all, the power has been increased, and when paired with the new transmission and Quattro system are going to give you a much more fun to drive vehicle. The feel of the wheel has been improved tremendously. You've also got a lot more cabin room cut out for a taller sized person like myself, and that was always a problem that on the original first and second generation TTs definitely limited the amount of people who could actually be comfortable in the vehicle as a car to drive on a regular basis. Let's take a little bit of a deeper look at some of the technology that Audi has updated the vehicle with. Now, on the exterior design, there are a few elements that the TT has which are unique to it in the Audi lineup. The most notable thing that is pretty subtle, the Audi rings are actually adhered right to the hood. The only other car that shares this design is the Audi R8. Generally, they're going to be mounted into a design of the grille. As you open the hood, you'll actually realize that the edge of the hood is actually clamshelled, and that's going to not only crispen up the body lines because you don't have that cutout, but it also helps improve the aerodynamic function of the vehicle. Once we open up the hood, you're going to find on the standard TT a 220 horsepower motor, which is going to be mated to a dual clutch transmission with all-wheel drive all the time. Audi's Quattro is standard on all the TTs. It's not something you need to pay extra for. And on the TTS, you're going to get that same all-wheel drive function with a more notable 292 horsepower motor. So if you felt like the standard TT didn't have enough gusto for you, we definitely make one with a little bit more hot sauce under the hood there. So as we move around to the back, you'll also find the redesign has reached the tail lights as well as the rear diffuser. And especially on the TTS model, you're going to get some aesthetic differences that we'll point out to you here. The TT is the smallest car that Audi builds. It's shorter, narrower, and has less interior volume than almost every other car out there. That doesn't mean it's not usable. It's surprisingly spacious inside, especially when you open up the hatch and pop the seats down. That can be adequate for a big screen TV, a small bike, or any of the other equipment that you might need to bring with you on life's journey. You also have a full spare tire and toolkit, even on the TTS model. I know that spare tires have kind of gone the way of the dodo bird on a lot of modern cars, and even with the performance editions of the TT, you will still have the capability to fix the tire yourself. Ultimately though, Audi's roadside assistance means that if you wanted to, you could fix a flat tire with one finger. All you do is you call them and they come take care of it for you. So the vehicle is fairly practical despite its small presence on the road. Now, when comparing the differences between the TT Coupe and the TTS, there are a lot of subtle aesthetic differences that you'll find on the outside. One of the most notable ones is the aluminum cap side mirrors, which is going to designate the S model of almost any Audi. And then you'll also have the S-line body kit. So front and rear diffusers as well as side rocker panels are going to be more aggressive. On the front, they have a larger cutout for the oversized intercoolers, as well as the red rhombus, which is going to be another little feature that sets apart the performance Audis from the standard ones. The brakes are going to be larger rotors, front and rear, and then in the rear they're going to have vented rotors, which are going to help decrease brake fade in higher performance situations. The standard TT has solid rear rotors, which are adequate for that vehicle. Around the very back, you'll also have the quad pipe exhaust with the aluminum diffuser on the TTS. However, both models are going to be incorporated with this spoiler, which can be deployed with the press of a button. Now, here on the inside of the TT, we are sitting in a fully loaded model. Pretty much all the models are going to be this way. The navigation display here on the virtual cockpit, which you'll find is the only screen in the car right behind the driver's steering wheel, is going to be really responsive. It's going to give me all the information that the vehicle can offer, from maps to performance and fuel economy information, as well as changing the settings on the car. Now on the inside of the TT, comparing it to the TTS, there's a few little things that are different. One of the more notable things is that the TTS has an additional adjustment on the seat. The bolsters, or the side part of the seat, can be adjusted to give you a tighter or more open feel on the TTS, and that's going to be paired with the adjustable suspension on the TTS. The Audi's magnetic dampening control will give you some flexibility to make the car feel a little bit stiffer or a little bit softer depending on the road you might be driving on or your own personal preferences as a driver. All of that can be controlled without taking your hand off the wheel, which is really cool. There are some central controls in between the passenger and driver that can be used by either person, and those are still going to control that middle screen. However, you'll find that as you're sitting here, whether you're in the front passenger or the front driver's seat, your attention is almost gravitated towards the steering wheel. And it's very a driver-centric layout, you could say. And that is just due to the focus of the TT as being a true sports car. We're just kind of cruising through town here. The paddle shifters on the back of the steering wheel are really simple. They are on demand, which means that I don't have to engage any special mode. I can just be cruising along in the comfort drive mode and engage that paddle shifter at any time. And it's going to tell the dual clutch transmission exactly what I want. It's very responsive, and it can shift in less than 0.2 of a second if it needs to, which is pretty spectacular. The 6-speed gearbox is tuned to provide a level of efficiency on the freeway without compromising the mid-range. So the middle spacing, second, third, fourth gear are set up to still provide you with a big smile when you're merging on the freeway and unleash all that horsepower under the hood. I want to thank you guys for taking time out of your busy day to view our video. If you'd like to get more information about any of the Audi products that you've seen or have questions about the video that you watched just now, feel free to reach us directly at Audi Stevens Creek. You'll find contact information in the links below.